Hey everyone, it's Justine, the Twilight Stamper. Welcome to another video tutorial featuring this gorgeous card I made using the butterfly stamp from Suzy Stamps, which is available now for pre-order or to order, depending on when you watch this video. I'm going to start off with my card base. I'm going to make that 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. It's going to be a top folding card. And as usual, washi tape is going to be my best friend when making this card. So I'm just going to tape down the corner here so that it stays nice and flat while I'm working. And then I'm going to be taking this chevron stencil that I had purchased at Michael's a long time ago, and I'm going to be masking off an area using washi tape and only using a partial stenciling. So I lined up my card with the chevrons, and it was really easy to line up nice and straight. And I'm just masking off this rectangular area on the top and bottom, making sure that it's nice and stuck down there. I'm going to be using some texture paste from Dreamweaver and a palette knife to spread that across. Now I'm going to be working more from a side-to-side motion, and then kind of scooping off and scraping. So I'm trying not to use a thick layer of the texture paste. You don't need a lot of it, and just bringing down and using all the stuff that I don't use onto my card. And in the end, whatever you don't use, you can scrape off and throw back into the jar. As long as you don't get any ink on it, then it's good to go. Now on to my favorite part, and that is removing the stencil and the washi tape. So I'm just going to lift carefully from the corner and pull upwards, and I'm left with this really awesome white chevron on the background of my card. Alright, so when stamping the butterfly, I tried 2 different techniques, one with a darker color and one with a lighter color. The first time I stamped it using Memento ink, I decided that when the pink and the brown mixed, it turned out a little bit muddy. So I brought in some lighter colors. I brought in New Sprout, and I think Angel Pink is the pink that I used. And I just randomly stamped that onto my stamp. I'm sorry I'm slightly off screen there, but I just kind of randomly stamped and used the light to see where I had already stamped and stamped that underneath. I wanted to get a nice comparison as to the different subtleties and what that would bring. So I really like the lighter look much better. I fussy cut that with my scissors, and then I decided that I wanted to ink the edges just a little bit using that pink color. I thought that it would be a little lost with the white on white, so I just put a very, very subtle angel pink onto the edges of the butterfly. When that was done, I folded it in half to make it sort of like a 3D look. And then I ended up deciding that I was going to use a little bit of my Perfect Pearls. So I stamped this butterfly once again in Versamark ink. I wasn't really concerned about making sure that I stamped exactly because I'm just stamping in clear ink right now. And in the end, you won't notice if you stamp slightly off. So I tried to line it up as best as I could, and because it was already cut, it was a lot easier to line up anyway. And I stamped that using my Versamark ink. And then I decided to use some Perfect Pearls to kind of dust over that and give it some really awesome shine. So I used just a white Perfect Pearls and no color. And I dunked in my brush. This is a Ranger brush that is specifically made for the Perfect Pearls. And I just swept along the butterfly. And what I really like about this is it really sticks to the lines. Once you tap it off and just go over it with your brush, it's actually going to wipe off any excess powder that doesn't stick to it. So it's not just going to look like the pearls were just wiped on there and it's not going in any form. So you can see when I hold it up to the light there that it's really bringing out those details in the actual stamp. So I'm just brushing off that excess there. And the way you set Perfect Pearls is by spritzing some water. So I just wanted to spritz just a little bit of water onto the butterfly so that it sets and it doesn't come off on your fingers. I wanted to stamp the sentiment next, so I just took a scrap piece of 80-pound Nina White Solar cardstock, and I attached this Creativity stamp set from Suzy Stamps that I've used on a couple of cards so far, and I really like it. I think it's a really perfect thing to make for other card makers or other crafters or creative people that really enjoy your cards and the way that you make them and things like that. So I ended up taking that darker pink from the previous butterfly that we had done because I wanted something that stood out a little bit better. And I stamped that onto the white sheet of paper and just cut off it out into a square, And I decided that, as you can see from the image, I actually used the lighter pink just to see what it would be like with the contrast with the butterfly, and then I ended up stamping it dark and then cutting it out. So you can kind of see how I experiment here with different colors of inks and how things are going to look with different shades and things like that, so that there is a thought process that goes into my card. And one of those thought processes trying to cover those mistakes is you can see there's a shine on the right side of my card, and that's because I tried to put some liquid pearls on there and it didn't work out for me in any way, shape, or form. So I decided with some 3D foam tape I was going to mount the sentiment already to cover up some of that shine that I had made on the mistake. And then I decided to add the butterfly, and I used just some Tombow mono glue onto that edge where I had folded the butterfly previously, and I decided to add that to my card. And once again, I'm still trying to distract from that shiny piece. So I used my paintbrush to kind of hold that butterfly in place so that it would really be a 3D thing when it was sticking out. And now I'm going to be using some Skittles from Suzy Stamps. Now these are some awesome, super cheap embellishments that are 3D sort of glass dots, I guess you could say. And they're really fantastic, and I really love them. And I just attached them using a mini glue dot. And the mini glue dots, you can't even see through them, and it works out really perfectly. I absolutely love the way that these look. And so I wanted to distract again from that little shiny piece that you can still kind of see, but in the end, nobody's going to notice. So I stuck on 5. I like odd numbers. Odd numbers make your brain not try to organize them into pairs. And that's why they actually look much better than adding even numbers. Kind of an interesting fact. I didn't even know that. Next, I'm going to take my Wink of Stella pen, and I'm going to go along the main words in the sentiment. So I went along the love, and I went along the creative, and the life. So I want you to see kind of that shine that you get when I hold it up to the light and how awesome this card looks. The shine is on the butterfly, it's in the sentiments, it's everywhere. And I think that this card looks really, really sharp. So thanks so much for watching my video, everyone. Here you're welcome to subscribe to my channel, and I also have 2 tutorials linked here for other cards using Suzy Stamps. That Dragonfly and Butterfly are my absolute favorite during the March 2015 release. Remember that there's a discount code, Justine10, Justine 10, and that is going to give you 10% off at the store during March 2015 all month long. So be sure to use it, and catch you next time.